Imagine it is pitch black. You are huddled on the cold dirt. The wind is howling outside. You are freezing. And you are not alone. There are 30 other people breathing heavily around you. You lock eyes with the one person you want. The tension is real. But how do you make a move? There are no walls. There are no locking doors. There is absolutely nowhere to hide. You mess up, the whole squad knows. You get rejected, the whole tribe is watching. This was the ultimate high-stakes game. For hundreds of thousands of years, humans played this survival game every single day. The rules of attraction were raw. They were wild. And they shaped everything about who you are today. Let us get one thing straight. If you dropped a modern person into a hunter-gatherer camp 40,000 years ago, the sheer lack of personal space would break their mind. Agriculture did not show up until 12,000 years ago. Before that, humans were constantly moving, roaming the untamed earth in tiny crews of 20 to 50 people. This was your entire universe. You knew everyone on a painfully deep level. You knew their daily habits. Every bitter fight, every messy breakup, and every quiet glance of attraction went down right in front of the whole group. Think about the crushing pressure. Today, if a date goes bad, you delete the app. You block their number. You hit them with the ghosting routine and never look back. But back then, ghosting was literally impossible. If you embarrassed yourself trying to flirt, you still had to wake up and sit shoulder to shoulder with that exact same person around the morning fire. The cringe was inescapable. It was a permanent Goldfish bowl. So how did couples get any alone time? They basically faked it. Since solitude meant getting eaten by an apex predator, being completely alone was a death sentence. You stayed with the pack to stay alive. The first move was timing. When the sun dropped, the darkness offered a psychological shield. Most intimate moments happened late at night when everyone else was asleep or pretending to be deeply asleep. The second play was physical distance. Couples would quietly walk away from the main camp. They could not go too far, because wandering out of the firelight meant becoming a late-night snack for a predator. But walking just 50 feet away into the thick shadows made you practically invisible. But the most fascinating strategy was the silent social contract. The tribe pretended they did not see a single thing. It was an ancient code of respect. You looked the other way. They built psychological walls because physical walls simply did not exist. They gave each other the ultimate illusion of privacy through heavily enforced ignorance. But getting to that intimate moment required serious work. The rules of attraction were absolutely brutal. In a world with zero money, zero cars, and zero clout chasing on social media, you could not hide a trash personality behind expensive stuff. A prehistoric camp had less gear than your modern kitchen drawer. People saw the real you. They watched you every hour of the day. They watched how you handled crushing stress. They watched if you hoarded food or shared it generously after a brutal hunt. They saw if you folded under pressure or stayed chill when real danger showed up. Your reputation was everything. The ultimate flex was not having the biggest muscles. It was your vibe. It was your sense of humor. Scientists studying the Agta people in the Philippines discovered something that completely flips the script on the tough caveman stereotype. The best storytellers, the ones who could make the whole tribe laugh, were highly sought after. They actually ended up having way more kids. Humor literally shaped human evolution. Making people laugh around a burning log was the prehistoric equivalent of driving a luxury sports car. It signaled elite social intelligence. Physical attraction was also different. The standards of beauty were forged directly in the fires of pure survival. If you lived in an unforgiving environment where starvation was always breathing down your neck, carrying a little extra body fat was a massive flex. It proved you were healthy and could survive a brutal winter. Scars were basically prehistoric tattoos. A gnarly hunting scar was not an ugly imperfection. It was a respected badge of honor. It told a visual story of raw bravery and survival. Then there was scent. Modern dating is obsessed with covering up who we really are. We aggressively scrub off our natural scent and drown ourselves in artificial perfumes. Ancient humans rolled with their natural smell, and it was a biological superpower. Your nose is a highly advanced radar system. Studies prove that humans subconsciously vibe with the scent of people who have totally different immune systems than their own. Why? Because matching up with someone who has different biological defenses means your future kids will be way stronger. Your nose was doing the swiping for you, quietly filtering out bad biological matches in the pitch dark. Everything completely changed when humans captured the flame. Fire was the ultimate game changer. Before fire, nighttime was pure terror. You stayed completely silent. You stayed hyper-alert. You desperately hoped the things howling in the dark would not find you. But fire pushed the monsters back into the shadows. Fire created a glowing safe zone. Suddenly, humans unlocked bonus hours after the sun went down. This was the birth of the kickback. Under a massive canopy of stars, with no glowing phone screens and no harsh artificial lights, people just talked. They shared intense stories. They cracked jokes to cut the tension. The very spark of early music happened right there. Romance, exactly as we know it today, was incubated next to those cracking flames. You spent hours connecting on a deep psychological level. Older people in the tribe held massive, undeniable respect. Sure, life was physically brutal. Walking forever, dealing with gnarly injuries. A 35-year-old back then was considered a seasoned veteran compared to an office worker today. But the elders survived because they were incredibly smart. They knew the hidden migration routes. They memorized the dangerous plants. Their knowledge was the ultimate survival tool, and people naturally gravitated toward that undeniable competence. Now, let us completely destroy a massive myth. Forget the ridiculous movie scenes of brutish cavemen dragging helpless women around by the hair. The real archaeological evidence shows a totally different power dynamic. In many ancient hunter-gatherer societies, women held the heavy cards. They had serious freedom when it came to choosing their partners. Look at the Jew/Hoansi people of southern Africa. Women there regularly reject men they are just not feeling. If a relationship got toxic or just stopped working, they dropped them. Divorce was super common and completely accepted without massive drama. They just split up. Ancient humans were heavily built to pair bond, but they were not necessarily locked into lifelong traps if things went sour. Relationships were highly flexible. Some lasted a whole lifetime. Others fell apart after a few rough seasons. But why pair bond at all? The answer is the most demanding creature on planet Earth. The human baby. Raising a human child is a totally exhausting, decade-long mission. A baby horse can literally stand up and sprint a few hours after being born. A human newborn cannot even hold its own head up properly. That intense vulnerability required a rock-solid team. Real talk, love is heavy biological programming. It is a chemical leash designed by evolution to keep two totally exhausted humans from bailing on each other while carrying a screaming toddler across a dangerous prehistoric landscape. But even a dedicated couple was not enough. Humans only survived because we are cooperative breeders. The whole squad pitched in. Aunts, uncles, older siblings, and especially grandmothers stepped up. There is a wild evolutionary concept called the grandmother hypothesis. Human females go through menopause, which is incredibly rare in the animal kingdom. Why stop having kids? Because an older woman's deep childcare skills became so valuable to the survival of her grandchildren that evolution favored a longer lifespan just so she could help out. Childcare was a heavy team sport. Your partner was not just dating you. They were marrying into the entire tribe. That is exactly why social intelligence was the ultimate weapon. Could you keep the peace? Could you build solid friendships? Could the crew depend on you? Raw physical dominance was for the animals. Humans competed by being the absolute best team players. You might think you are radically different from them. You have your expensive smartphone, your delivered food, and your locked bedroom door. But you are running the exact same ancient software. When you find deep kindness hot, that is your brain recognizing a reliable survivor. Jealousy is just the prehistoric fear of losing a serious emotional investment. We built sprawling megacities and slammed heavy doors shut, trading the messy safety of the tribe for modern privacy. We got the solitude we wanted, and now an epidemic of crushing loneliness is sweeping the globe. We forgot that being alone used to mean certain death. Beneath the modern noise, the ancient emotional core remains untouched. They loved fiercely. They flirted in the deep shadows. They felt the crushing weight of romantic rejection. They laid awake wondering if the person across the fading fire felt the same. Archaeologists have even found graves where two people were buried holding each other tightly, with beautiful flowers carefully placed next to them tens of thousands of years ago. The setting changed. The stakes look different. But the human story has always been exactly the same. Just fragile people, desperately searching for a warm connection in a dark and dangerous world.